quite easy, isn't it? And that's it.
What we're going to do here is we're going to fit a derailleur onto a bike. First step is we're going to make sure that this grub screw here sits on the back of that location point there, okay? So that is bolted on like that. And now you can see the derailleur can move back and forth, and the grub screw is butting up to the tab at the back. So there we go, okay? So that's fitment. Okay. Step number 2 is we need to set up the limiter screw. The lower one is to set the upper, and the upper one is to set the lower, and that adjusts the throw moves. Okay, so if we have a little look from the back, okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to adjust this screw here, which ties the jockey wheel in line with there. So the jockey wheel is now roughly aligned with the 11-tooth sprocket there, okay?
Yep.
Okay, and now if we push...
Wish I'd had this video when I was 18.
Okay, right, now what we need to do is align the upper jockey wheel again with the 26 tooth, the large sprocket there, okay, which I'm going to do with the lower one, the lower grub screw. And there she is, just about aligned.
Yep.
Next step I'm going to do is install the derailleur cable. That goes on through the mech, like that. In through she goes. 5mm Allen key. Right, at this point we've got to remember to set the shifter on the very last click.
And is the last click the highest gear or the lowest gear?
It's the highest gear.
Okay.
It's number 9 on this particular system, okay? Okay, slightly pre-stretch the cable, okay, so I grab the cable here and I'm going to pre-stretch that slightly just to bed that cable in, and again you can see there's a fair bit of slack occurred there, so I'm going to pull that through now just a touch more. Okay, we've set the barrel adjuster almost at 0, so we've got a little bit of float either way, okay. Right, next thing, the dirty bit is reinstalling this grubby old chain. Come on. Okay, so round the chain goes, around the front of the jockey wheel and straight around the back of the lower jockey wheel, and that's this one, she's threaded. Okay, now on some chains you've got a split link, on others you've got a pin on a Shimano chain. This one I'm just going to simply repair, so I'm going to click those two back in position. This is just a simple standard chain repair we're going to execute here, okay? So there we go. Not quite all the way, and there we are. Now if you can, the way that I check these chains to make sure they're pushed, the pin is pushed across far enough, is to simply scrape my nail along the back of that link, and if my nail stops like it does there, I know that it's pushed through far enough. That's perfect. Okay, we're going to adjust the gears, okay? Right, so that I can see now that jockey wheel is across a little too far, so I'm going to have to back this limiter screw backwards slightly. Oh, she's sitting there nearly.
And so I'm just going to pan round so I can see which limiter screw you're using there.
Adjusting the upper limiter screw to allow the derailleur to come this way a little further. Okay, and then we need to check the throw, or the limiter screw is not allowing the mech to move too close to the wheel, so we push the derailleur across, and I'm pushing quite firmly there.
And that is just clicking the spokes, is it?
Well, no, it's not, but you know, I've limited the screw there, the lower screw, so the derailleur doesn't go any further than it's going. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. Now, if the jockey wheel in that gear, if the jockey wheel here starts to rub the 26 tooth or the highest or the lowest, I should say, gear at the top, the biggest gear there, if these two start to connect, then what we do is adjust this B screw or the chain wrap adjuster. Now, if you see, the further in I screw this, the further the mech will push out, and it will give you clearance. But ideally, you want it as far out, this screw, as possible to allow the chain to wrap as far around the derailleur as you can. And that's going to give us the greatest amount of chain wrap, and it will give us the best shift. So that adjustment there is a very, very important adjustment. Okay, next step is we need to now index the gears. So we've pre-stretched the cable. The gear cable is going to have no more give. So now we're going to click once, and there we are. That's perfect. Oh, slight amount more. Now, as it happens, those gears are set up well. But if there you are, that's derailleur fitment.
That's good. Yeah, it's quite a messy job.
Yeah, not nice. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a dirty old job. And this comes off with just water. Oh man.
And how long would it have taken you normally to wash your hands?
Just too long. Spent too many years scrubbing my hands with Swarfiga, drying them out. It's not nice. If I'd have known about this 10 years ago. If only, eh? And there we go. That's just water, and that's pretty clean.
It's amazing. That's good.
There we are.
You can buy Prime Shield online now at www.broadnetsolutionsltd.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you there.